Now it's time to start the show with Bl'Artagnan, Type Zoe, and Raw Life. This is the Lifestream.
Oh, you have to get that changed. Shout out Bard for the Lifestream intro song. Zoe, as you know, is on hiatus. We wish her the best in her endeavors. I'm Raw Life. I am joined, as always, by Bl'Artagnan. How you doing, Blart?
Howdy, howdy. I am doing well, Raw. It's the holiday seasons. We're feeling some festive cheer in the air, I think, and hopefully we're all hoping that we get a nice little stocking stuffer tonight on the banner. So yeah, how we're
yeah.
I know that sounds pretty salacious, doesn't it? Pretty salacious.
You guys are the worst.
I like the stuff. All right. Anyway, Zoe is on hiatus, and we have the sensational Some Girl joining us. Some Girl, how are you?
I'm all right. Been enjoying being on break, not going to work.
Yeah, you don't have to go to work during winter break. I work from home, so I never have to go to work.
You don't work anyways.
I just realized that I don't have all my volumes down. I don't have all the character board points from this event. How's that? How is that possible?
Yeah. For mission dungeons, you need to run it. You can't just do each fight once. You have to run through one of the other fights a couple of times. I mean, I think I ended up just doing a couple of extra Lufania runs or something. But yeah, you need to do a little bit of extra work to clear up those character points.
Yeah, I smashed through it, and then I used Zidane for my Zidane saga with Aranea and Setzer, and haven't touched it again since. So I guess I have to do it again. I'm going to do a challenge run real fast. I'm going to do a TCC challenge in 23 minutes before Fran drops. But before we get to Fran, did anything happen since the last time we were here, Blart? Since Monday?
Oh, well, I mean, last time we were here, something actually happened while we were here. And those of you who were with us last week may remember that we actually did not reach the Lufania that dropped that evening. It was a story fight for Jegran. So Jegran came out. We kind of talked about him a little bit, although we now have a Jegran expert with us here. So on my end, I mean, we talked about this a little bit in Discord, Somegi. I know I'm not super high on Jegran, but you've actually gotten to play with him, figured out kind of how he works. Do you want to give your thoughts on how he's been feeling?
Yeah, sure. So I did, in fact, blue and green Jegran because I can and I wanted to. And he's pretty solid. I mean, I don't think he's amazing. He's obviously not as good as the coming super broken units, but he's more than good enough for the relatively easy content that we have been getting and will be getting in the future. And I think he's fun. So
yeah, that is fair. Did someone just join us? I do have some. So here's the thing. I know I came off pretty hard against Jegran last time on the show, and I still stand by the fact that he's weaker than other units. I underestimated him. I've been seeing, you, Gabilon on YouTube, some people kind of putting in work and showing what he is capable of, and he's definitely a unit you can make work. I think a lot of the pushback with people has been that when asking about a character's recommendation and valuation, and I don't think you're someone doing this, there are other people we could point to who are actually doing this, it's kind of a malpractice to say, hey, you should invest these precious resources, blue armors, green nuggets, into this character when other characters would make your life easier if you went that route instead. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if you're super hurting for BT plus materials, and you need someone meta to carry you through the next 6 months, then I would not suggest that you invest in Jegran.
Okay. That is, I mean, yeah, I know you're not. I know you're a fan of the guy, but you're also not championing him and telling people to go out of your way to get him and things like that. I think you've had a very balanced approach to it.
But it's not like you can't complete content with him.
Yeah,
he does more than enough damage. The boss health is not going up too quickly.
I had an epiphany today. I was thinking about this, and I realized, I said to myself, Bart, who are the kind of people who are looking for these, the character recommendations and the evals and the opinions and the, should I pull? It's the folks who, for lack of a better term, it's going to be the baddies. It's going to be the people who need the advice. The folks who will be getting their good mileage out of a character and really making them work no matter what their kit is at. They're people who probably already they have made up their mind. They know what they're doing. They don't really need other people's input. The folks who are saying, "Hey, is this character good?" They're the folks who are more liable to struggle with content. I also see that there's a fella who's joined us in the Discord who has thoughts and opinions on the subject. Mino, are you here with us?
I'm here to fight Somegi. I got
Here we
go.
summoned because I heard her
Here we go.
Go for it.
talking her news. Your biggest crime is enabling Eamon's hot takes. Like
Hello?
you're not giving it correct context. I mean, we all know that you can do the content with Jegran and everything. I agree with Bl'Art. The people who are looking for recommendations are the ones who need the most help. So this would never be a real recommendation for pulling or investment. Would you agree to that?
I literally said that I would not suggest that. If you need a character to carry you through content for the next several months, I would not invest in him.
But see, you need a giant disclaimer every time you talk about Jegran, because now Eamon's like pulling your
Because
quotes out
everyone
of
will assume I
context.
mean something that I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's pulling your quotes out of context, flinging them everywhere. See, Somegi's a good player, and she says Jegran is aces. You know, like
Yeah.
I think he's better than people give him credit for. I will definitely say that.
Here's the thing. I am going to put the whole thing to rest right now. Jegran is a victim of foresight. If you want to do a damage calc on Jegran, like Eamon has done over and over, done all these, here's what he can do in the ultimate perfect situation for him. 2 blues, everything built around Jegran. Here's the damage he does. It's good. It's really high. It's higher probably than any of the DPSs we have right now. It's good. He does good damage. However, we do have foresight. We can't live in a hypothetical world where we don't have foresight. We do. We know what's coming. Machina is coming, and he just does it better, and he does it easier. Somegi is a perfect example of a someone who Jegran is really good for. She doesn't struggle on content ever. She has what she needs. She pulls when she needs to. She enjoyed his game. She enjoyed him as a character, and most importantly, she enjoys his kit. So she enjoys playing with him. That specific niche, Jegran's fine. If you're giving advice to people on whether they should use Jegran, the answer is, and they need advice, the answer is no, probably, because we have foresight. We know what's coming, and Jegran doesn't measure up. And the one thing he does, you can't compare him to the next 2 coming up. So when it comes down to the resources you have to spend, the cost to benefit ratio, it's just not there when you compare him to upcoming damage dealers. But maybe we treated him a little too harshly because, yes, for what he is, what he does good damage. He's a damage dealer who does pretty good damage.
I like how you both put it. I really think that's the best way to put it. I almost want to clip what Ross said. It was almost like intelligible and eloquent, right? but like,
what has we become? Hold on, let me chug a beer. Keep going.
But right. So I mean, I think ultimately the confusion and the arguments in this fucking community are stemming from the hipsters and the lack of objectivity. Right. So Maggie's not going around saying you should pull Jegran. I think the only thing she has said is he's better than people give him credit for, which is still a debatable statement, but a fair statement, because what people aren't saying, and I believe BC said that he came to this conclusion when he was talking to Eamon about Jegran too, is if you slapped any other DPS BT plus character in the same slot, could they do just as much, if not better? Right? And I think people have to relent there. It's always about opportunity cost. Nobody cares how well the floor is, because ultimately, at the end of the day, like you guys said, the people seeking help are the ones who want the path of least resistance. All right, picking a hard mode is not the path of least resistance. That's one. People don't think about the opportunity cost of, if all this fucking hoop jumping and backbending to make one character look good, could you slot in like Machina or Locke or Null into that slot and get better results? Yes. Could you slap Inject and get the same, if not better results? Possibly. And he's been out longer, so he's been getting you'd get more mileage out of it. That's the, if you're gonna object to that, that's the disclaimer I'd put on it, that he's been around longer, so he'd have a longer run at this point.
Yeah, I think that kind of the conclusion that I came to from like talking to other people who I don't have Jack myself. I was curious how sort of the damage stacked up. I would say they do pretty similar damage, but obviously like Jegran needs less support to do that damage.
It's a tough call, and this isn't the episode to go into the semantics, but I know like a properly set up Jekt can hit like 900k on Jekt Slash. That's a 20% splash, so more on a single target, and then the free consecutive turns start adding up as well.
Right.
It's a whole thing, right? Because it's like, oh, can Jegran keep his BT effect through the whole fight? Can blah 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 blah. But it's comparable. I think we can all agree on that. It's comparable. Right?
Similar power level. I would definitely agree that
yes,
the power level is pretty similar.
Right.
Just gotta make sure setting context for folks. We're not raising some. We're not like making. This is kind of a discussing partially strawmen, partially actual people who exist, but we're not putting Somegi on blast here for being like, oh, you like Jegran. This is not that sort of thing.
No.
Very much respect.
No, I'm just explaining what my experience has been.
Again, Somegi actually went and invested, so a lot of respect there, right?
Yeah.
Like you at least backed up your words and invested into what you thought was not a bad choice, which is completely fair. Like you said, for veterans, for good players, you can invest in anyone and get through this content. No problem.
It's like my first clear of this fight here, I used Tidus, Yuffie, and Selfie, and I did not struggle at all.
Right. But for the people looking for advice, it's hard to recommend that level of investment when they could invest anywhere backwards or forwards for greater returns. Because even like him coming back on C90 is him not seeing use, right? Whereas like if you did like Tidus, he'd come back.
He's definitely not Tidus level, but definitely people have used him. And the one thing that he does get with C90 that's pretty big is he gets an ultimate weapon, right? That's the HP damage up that he really needs.
Yeah. Right. Which is fair.
And more dumps. So I mean, I think, I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, bring in the results will kind of show people what's what. I know with my experiences with Vayne, I greened him because I liked him and was prepared to be disappointed based on what people have said. And my personal experience has been very positive with him, despite him being kind of sold as a very underwhelming BT. So at the end of the day, I haven't felt I've had to work too hard to make that happen. So at the end of the day, we'll see in the coming weeks, and we'll be able to kind of look back on this and retrospectively say, okay, well, we were right about this, we were wrong about this. JP represented this well and poorly or whatever, and that'll be interesting to see play out. I know. I think at this point that I'd like to hope that some of the Jegran mania is kind of dying off because we have some new toys to play with.
DC's adding to Somegi's comment saying Jegran needs the HP caps to do that damage, so calling it not needing support isn't quite true.
Yeah,
he
that's
definitely
true.
needs help.
But I mean, if you're saying that like Jekt is hitting 900,000, he also needs HP caps to do that damage.
Depends. I think that's with him blue and green, so his own HP caps, yeah. But like other than that, it's just needing to be fully topped off and hitting weakness. Because it's how many godforsaken dumps on that S2. It's pretty ridiculous.
I gotta say, I think it might be a point you were already gonna make, but from what I've heard between you and Gabilon, it sounds like his skill 1's actually the sadder of his two skills.
Yeah, his skill. Okay, that's kind of a funny thing, right? People were like memeing about Jegran's skill 2 being awful because it's like the single dump split damage. His skill 1's worse. His skill 2 is actually fine because with like the amount of he has tons of his BT plus gives him overflow and he has pretty big HP damage up on himself, so he actually caps it pretty easily as long as you have like decent supports. Whereas S1 has no refund and it's not enough brave hits for him to actually cap it, so that skill sucks.
Plus, the way it applies to stacks is just like.
And it's less stacks too. It's even worse. No, S1's garbage. I don't think I pressed it a single time when I used him in any fight because it's horrible.
See, that's good insight. I do like that personal experience insight.
Yeah, she actually has skin in the game, as they say.
Yeah, you can see it on my YouTube. I ran Jegran in this fight. It was very easy.
It went really well. I watched that video. I don't normally run through that commentary, but that one just chewed through them.
I mean, to be fair, this is his cycle, and that fight was meant for him too, because he's always hitting crit to keep the orb up.
Oh yeah, he deals with the mechanics of this fight very well, of course.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious to see, speaking of personal experiences, how Rod's going to get in this situation.
Yeah, I'm very invested in this Raw run because he does not.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what the orb is. First off,
I didn't know what the orb was. I wanted to do it really
you know
fast.
what it is now.
I do know what
Can
it
I
is now.
tell you?
It's crit damage. The chat told me.
Wait, I thought you were doing a TCC challenge. Why do you have a BC?
TCC challenge? This is a friend BT.
The friend.
Friend unit.
There's a couple of things
Alright,
wrong with this run already.
Do you want advice, Raw?
Well, hold
Use
on.
Porum's AA right now, or you're dead.
They're immune to. How can I be dead? I have party last stand.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
last
sure,
day.
but
I have Zach, who needs lock to do his skill 2 twice, and they're lock immune. I did not change any of my calls, so I have like a Ferris call, Kubranth call, and Kaya's call. Do I have to AA? I guess I can do that.
I mean that'd be the easiest way to shave that.
And then
BC. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Raw.
and basically, I wanted to run through this before Fran drops, because the goal tonight, because we missed this fight last week because it just took too long, or was that the Jegran fight that we missed?
That was the Jegran.
That was Jegran. This is
Damn,
a new
so this
fight which
came
we'll be
after.
talking about once we're done talking about Jegran.
Okay, and anyway, yeah, we were just gonna try to do this before we got into the Fran stuff. But what were you gonna say, We'll talk more about Jegran.
Oh, I mean, yeah. BC has a really good point that I've also considered for a lot of other characters that I've wanted to run, like Sink or Shulk as well. He's saying something else is that all the orbs in this cycle, Jegran can handle. But when you have to potentially double drop your double blue supports in order to hit the orb, then how well is he actually doing?
No, I mean that's a fair point. He still does. It's less damage, obviously. It's still good damage.
It depends, because that's why we're talking about like self-sufficient DPS, right? Like Jack, who imperils his own element, has the auras, and does good with just a simple battery or something. Whereas Jegran really does need the HP caps to make a difference at all. It's kind of like old twins. I don't think you were around for old twins, Somegi, where like they always cap, but their max brave was fucking atrocious. So
Yeah, they had no overflow. Yeah.
yeah.
Jack slash, not Jack slash.
You're gonna want to break these dudes, by the way.
I know, but his brave is too
And
low.
Meteor Shot. Meteor Shot is the best one if you can't plus.
What is LD?
Neither one of his buffs run off during friend unit phase, so you don't have to
So
use.
well, I'm asking. His LD's AoE, and you gotta turn off your battery until you break them.
Yeah, but I hate when Jack doesn't have his plus version because it's so shitty. And I want even that
Does the LD have a plus version as well?
No, it doesn't,
No, I'm
but-
talking about plus version of Jack slash. I could have done like 600k again on that turn, but whatever.
I told your ass to EX.
Anyway, Jegran has wiggled his way into our collective unconsciousness for too long now. Honestly, I think that everyone who actually plays this game and is level-headed about this game is pretty much essentially on the same wavelength. He's not great compared to the upcoming DPSs, but if you like him, you like his kit, you are going to be able to run him. If Somegi wanted to be petulant about this, Somegi could run a Jegran cycle, a Jegran saga for the entire trash garbage time and say, oh, see, Jegran can do this, Jegran can do this. Well, because he can. He's not up to the standard of DPSs that are about to come right after him, and that's about all it gets. And Eamon, just let it go. Just let the damage calcs go. You're not going to come up with a damage calc where he hits harder than Machina.
Well, yeah, because Machina is broken. Like
It's not. Yeah, so just let it go. Any closing thoughts on Jegran? I never want to talk about him on the show ever again. So get your final thoughts in. Anyone? Going.
Yeah, I think people get a little bit too hung up on a character being, not being the optimal character. And so at the end of the day, if he gets you through content, fine, you'll survive having him. People get hung up then on like whether or not they're going to age, and that doesn't matter either because C90 is meaningless. And so just let it go. If you think most of us don't think he's good. If you think he's worth going for, go for it. If you don't worry about it. At this point, we're two banners past him, and I think he'll do just fine with the people who decided to champion him.
Fair enough. That was the event that we missed last week, and then this mission dungeon was my man Sazh. Never played Final Fantasy 13, so I can't speak to his original game, but if you've played this game for a long time, you'll remember the God Emperor. Sazh 35 was next level broken. You think Araneo was broken. Sazh was the God Emperor for a reason, and he's finally come back with his LD. I pulled it. Did anybody else pull? Somegi, did you pull?
I actually got Saz's LD on the free poll, but I have not actually built him yet because I do not have very many ingots.
I also pulled him on the free pull actually, and I ended up building him, but I've only used him for the challenge quest and for a single run that I did of this fight. So I mean, yeah. I can give my opinions, but it's not like extensively.
I used him a little bit, and or obviously the challenge quest, which is chaos. It doesn't matter, but I played around with him with Zidane. A lot of people point out like Garland characters who have trouble capping on their own with their brave. I don't know how to verbalize it. He basically increases your brave stolen. Like he makes you hit crits, and then also the amount of brave you get from the brave damage you do is higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so for like Zidane, it really helps him. He's not hitting that hard normally, so it's nice that he will be. It's easier for him to cap on his dumps. What are you gonna say, Bl'Art?
Yeah, no. Basically it gives you what 30% more dollar for your dollar. It's the people see. People keep seeming to have trouble explaining how the mechanic works, but it's a mechanic that's been around since Golbez dropped. It's kind of
Golbez did that kind of secretly.
Sephiroth, he was the first person to do it. It was kind of his gimmick when his LD drop was he was the first person to get that. Sephiroth got it on LD boards. Tidus got it when he got his LD. And basically, if you
those
think
are all selfish, though, right? Those are all selfish.
Yeah,
they're all selfish.
Oh,
so
okay.
Sazh is the first one to give it to the party. And if you think of it this way, it's reverse Iroha buff. Instead of retaining part of the brave that you would have spent, you are getting more of the brave than you earned. I might have complicated it way more, but like I don't know, that's how my brain worked.
Yeah, I don't have Iroha, so I have no fucking idea what you're saying. Cross 13. If you could put that in the chat, I actually watched that video. Cross 13 did a nice video where he kind of slows it down and explains step by step how the brave hits are counting more towards your brave pool.
Yep.
He just put it in the video, in the link, in the someone else talk.
It would be a really simple it'd be a really simple concept to explain if people remembered how this game fundamentally worked with the brave system. When you do a brave attack, you're stealing their enemy's brave. That's all it is. And so in this case, you're stealing more of the brave than you actually stole. So it's like you steal 100 brave, but you look in your wallet, and your brave wallet has 130 brave in it now instead of the 100 that you stole.
Right. The important thing too is this allows you to exceed caps, right?
Say again?
It allows you to like exceed the caps, right? Because normally the max you can steal with one brave hit is originally 9,999, but you can add 30% to that, which is going to help a lot of characters who don't really have a lot of brave hits in their kit. Maybe someone like Zach, who we have here on the screen, where he's got a lot of, obviously his brave gains as well, but a lot of his skills are 2 brave hits, then a dump, then 2 brave hits, then a dump. So you can make those brave hits get you more mileage, which is the type of character that will really benefit from this effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Garland's follow-ups is another example that. Oh wait, they just cleansed all their braves, all their debuffs. Garland's
the recast
follow-ups.
lenses.
It's really nice for Garland's follow-ups. When is Fran dropping? I'm not gonna.
In 1 minute.
Yeah,
Yes, in a minute. You might want to be on balance around. I'm not feeling this one.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, I think you got to jump out of here. It's okay. This was just a filler in the meantime.
Yeah, we'll come back to this one if we can't make. We're gonna try to rush through the mission or the story chapter as fast as possible and get to Lufania Plus. But if in like 30 minutes it doesn't look like we're gonna get there, we'll come back to this one and do a challenge run instead. But we're about to.
Cross just dropped a link to his video explaining how Sazh's L debuff works. I'll include that link in the description for the VOD for those of you watching this on YouTube.
Phenomenal. That's teamwork. That's community teamwork, folks. I'm about to pull for Fran.
I'm about to.
No, you don't have time to pull for Fran.
I'm just doing tickets. I have to pull for Fran.
No, don't do tickets. We're gonna run out of time, and you're not gonna be able to do Lufania.
Bart's worried about time. I'm gonna skip all the events.
Make a pull video and you can monetize your channel.
No, he'll just get on the free poll.
I just got it right
any
here.
Skilled player.
I just got it right here. Easy money.
The gold orb. That's it.
Is this one as long as the last one?
I think Nitro was saying it was annoying in this, like it was kind of annoying, like Chapter 2 or Act 2, Chapter 10, the one with all the stairs. I don't think there was many stairs. Just the way the map was laid out was kind of annoying.
Damn it! All right, I have to pull. It's gonna. Everybody wants to see the pulls. I'll hurry. I'll go so fast.
Okay, fine.
I'll go so fast.
Fine. Speedrun the polls. Yoshi Pasta is now going to begin a Jegran saga, having pulled his BT on the free pull.
Wait, Yoshi Pasta just got Jegran BT on the free pull?
Apparently, that's what he said. Unless he was calling it for you, I'm not sure which.
Yeah, Yoshi Pasta, can you put here we go.
Sorry, the Ranger with 2 free Jegran BTs at this point. God damn.
Hey, where's my camera? Hey.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Any questions? Huh?
Son of a bitch.
Huh? Any questions?
Never gonna let this go.
Let's go to the Lufania. Well, I don't know what you were worried about, Bart. That was 10 tickets.
I was worried that this was going to take like 300 tickets and half the stream.
Yeah, I also would have been in a horrible mood if it would have taken me 300 tickets for the rest of the stream and thrown the Lufania if we even got there. So everything works out.
300? That's not even like unreasonable.
Everyone always says that 300 is like the average. I don't do average. I do better than average.
Average is 200. It's worse than average, but you should expect to be worse than average half the time.
Not me. You should. Everyone else should, not me. I don't live in mediocrity. I live in elite performance. How do I get to the new fight?
You go to the story chapter.
Blart's being quiet because he's pulling right now after telling me not to pull.
No, just a second.
Somegi, you're not going to pull at all?
Probably not. I don't really see...
Cross got
Fran doesn't look particularly good to me.
Cross got Jegran BT also.
Yo, congrats to everyone.
The Castle from the Rift. I'm playing Final Fantasy V right now, so I have to skip all these anyway. Sold it. Baloney.
There we go. Sorry, I was setting that up.
I mean, I might pull just because I'm like about 200 tickets over the cap right now.
Do it. I mean,
but I really don't think I'll ever use her. And I mean, her call seems good.
You got to use your tickets. You got tickets. Use the tickets.
Yeah, but I could spend those on someone that I want more.
Founder rating. Thank you, Founder. Welcome.
Hello, Founder. How you doing?
Rating the stream. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Fran seems like a pretty decent utility pick. I'm a big fan of like very kind of versatile one-slot debuffs. Like I've been using Yuffie a whole bunch, and she basically just seems like an upgrade to Yuffie call, but that's just my preference.
I mean, yeah, she definitely is better than other calls. I just don't know if it's like that much better that's worth pulling.
So should we talk about the Sazh fight before we get into Fran?
Yeah, you guys, I'm going to be speed running this right now with the trash wave clear, so you guys talk about the fight and the everything.
So the Sazh fight, you all just watched a miserable failure of it.
Whoa!
Got him.
I think you might have learned a bunch of the mechanics by seeing Raw fail to do them.
Yep. So, yeah, this was allegedly, as far as I was aware of, people keep giving different start times to garbage time. I've heard Kane intersecting Wills is garbage time. I've heard Garnet intersecting Wills was garbage time. I've heard Jegran fight was garbage time. That's just what I heard. I'm not saying what I believe. And I think unequivocally this is considered to be because I think Jegran fight was considered like, okay, well, that one could catch you off guard. So I think
Yeah.
this is like unequivocally, this is the garbage time
Mhm.
fight beginning, no matter what. And I think the reason for that is because you can the orb is a softball. The orb is crit damage plus like 2 or plus 4 plus
+3.
something. Plus 3. Oh yeah, plus 3. The orb is crit damage plus 3. And you can no-turn them. And we have so many ways to no-turn bosses in this day and age.
Oh yeah.
And on top, so the only real mechanic of the fight is, okay, the only mechanics, I'd say there are 2 mechanics of the fight, and one of them is just that they have high defense because they're a copy paste of the Sabin fight, and that's not really a mechanic. That's just, they're just pretty tanky. And the other is they start and they get these brave gains that can't be instant broken. They can be gravitied. And gain increased defenses and turn off your battery until you break them. And so that's basically they're like one way to stop you from. I know in Mark's initial run from the Crystal Chronicles podcast, shout out the Crystal Chronicles, he went into the fight blind and ended up being unable to shave down that brave in time and died to the orb on his first run. Crushed it on the next one, but it really is a very simple, straightforward fight. Although I actually rather enjoyed it because if you choose to interact with it, it actually has a nasty recast that you have to play around. So it kind of felt like a choose your own adventure because if you wanted to play with the fight and kind of play around it and interact with it, it gave you something to kind of sink your teeth into. But if you wanted to just kind of like crush it and no-turn it, it was very easy to do that as well.
Yeah,
What did you think? What did you do?
I used Aranea and Zidane, and didn't deal with the mechanics whatsoever. So that's why we need to do a challenge run so I can actually see how the fight works. So Mega, who did you bring? I know who you.
I actually cleared this fight twice. My first clear was without using any of the featured characters. I ran Tidus, Yuffie, and Selfie. Just because I was like, all right, I can stop the brave gains. Yuffie, we could delay them with Selfie and Tidus. Plus, this actually the same team I ran on this very stream for Kane's intersecting wills. I used the exact same team for this fight and crushed it. Did not see a boss turn. Did not really have much difficulty other than maybe the turn count got a little dicey because we were not hitting very hard with all the defense at the end. But we had launches and stuff to make up for it. Then I did it one time with Jegran. I used Lena, Aphmau, and Jegran. I cleared the fight in 12 turns. I did not see a boss turn because they were already dead by the time they got a turn.
Raw Life
It was
give me
one of the easiest Loof Plus runs I've ever done.
Sorry to interrupt. Raw Life, give me a hoy yeah, and I'll subscribe. Here we go. Hoy yeah! Sorry, I just got yelled at. Can you
That was very loud.
Can you subscribe now, Coat Mellow?
Thank you, Coat.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jegran with Aphmau is actually a fun combination that people don't really talk about. I think everyone's obsessed with Rainsmau, but I mean, Jegran seems like a very solid Aphmau partner.
I mean, you know who else is a really good Aphmau partner is Machina, who's coming up.
Oof,
It's got the low turn rate HP plus, which
you don't need Machina because you have Jegran.
I mean, I don't need Machina, but I like him as a character, so I'll probably pull. Well, I don't even have to pull. I already have his LD, so.
Lucky. I actually ran the fight a couple times myself. I 1%ed it with Vayne, Bartz, and Kate's Ketchi, and that was predictable. I also cut it close with Vaughn. I've been really enjoying running Vaughn in Lufania Plus. He is still just really, really good.
Final Fantasy 12 guy.
Apparently. But him with Aegis and Agrius, which was really fun. And I also found Golbez was really good for the stage, which is stupid because everyone can, there are a bazillion ways to crush the stage. So it feels weird to be like, Golbez is really good here. But unironically, his Brave Freeze was really fun, was really great for turning off the big Brave gains, and late in the fight, they actually do the same thing that those Kadash camels do, where they gain a bunch of Brave after the turn. And so for the very end of the fight, he just said, no, you don't, no Brave for you. And he actually was able to pretty single-handedly shave down those big Brave gains himself at the beginning of the fight and later in the fight when I goofed it and let them do it anyway. He just doesn't really care about defense too much. That being said, full disclosure, Lena's LD attacks were doing as much damage as he was doing, so, take from that what you will.
Lena's the DPS.
Lena is a DPS.
Crazy broken.
I love her. I enjoy being a Final Fantasy V fan, and that's where we are here.
I'm also
Oh.
a big Final Fantasy V fan, so
Are those little tomato dudes? I hunted one of those in Final Fantasy 12.
That's
That
right.
I'm known for playing now.
Final Fantasy 12 guy. Look, we're just Final Fantasy. What's it called? Fanatics right now.
We are Final Fantasy fanatics, having played like some of them. Oh, actually, Ro, there was one more. I didn't do a video for this one, but I thought you'd appreciate it. I did Kuja, Zidane, and Sazh. I think this is like my third time using
Hey.
Zidane, so I thought you'd appreciate that with my apparently green Kuja. So that happened.
I think it's just saying,
Apparently
oh, you
green.
greened Kuja? Where was the
yeah.
pomp and
So-
circumstance? What?
So here's the thing. Here's what you have to understand. There's several considerations here, and I've been trying to justify it to myself. And the fundamental reason is it was a mistake and I shouldn't have done it.
Right.
But the thought process was, I actually last week spent most of the week in the Hamptons with my wife. We went on a nice little pre-baby honeymoon, kind of baby moon sort of thing.
Oh.
And one of the agreements there was we were going to kind of go offline during that, just spend the time with two of us. And I said to myself, okay. The day before we left, the Chaos Co-op dropped. And
Oh.
I've been kind of thinking of greeting Kuja because I was like, oh, he looks neat. But by the end, I was like, you know what? No, he's basically just worst parts. I'm not doing this. And then I ended up not able to sleep, and I got really tired and really kind of foggy-headed. I looked at that Chaos Co-op and looked at the cost of the shop, and I was like, I'm going to need a green unit to get through these co-ops because randos are not going to do it, and I'm losing a week of farming time. And then I greened him, and then I got back from vacation, and it's like, what have I done?
And now you have another phenomenal green villain. You're a green villain guy. Excellent.
Apparently I'm a green villain guy.
Gobez, Vayne, Kuja now.
If I had caught QT, I would have greened it.
What is this? What level is this fight? There we go. I don't know who voted that I would make it or not make it. Not make it is looking real strong right now. I'm skipping every single. I'm skipping every single cutscene as soon as it starts. Everything, but it's just story chapters hit different, man. We'll have to go back. We may have to go back to. We'll give it like.
Bring an extra friend and start using him instead of Yuffie.
Say what?
You have an extra friend right there. Bring him in and start using him instead of Yuffie. He's going to deal more damage.
It's
resisting.
It's almost dead. I don't know what resisting means.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Anyway, but yeah, speaking of villain BT guy and Final Fantasy 12 guy, we can talk now about the character who dropped for this event. I think, Sazh Mission Dungeon, whatever, it was in the past, it was easy, we crushed it, all of us were really good at this game. Especially Raw just now on his TCC challenge attempt. But we actually, we have a new character, new LD dropping, and as of this afternoon is the LD belonging to my favorite Final Fantasy 12 character, Fran.
Let's go.
She wasn't my favorite character before because I knew nothing about her and I was like, she's just a dumb bunny lady. But then earlier this afternoon, I found out she's the first character at FF12 you get who has access to healing magic, and that was just tremendous as I blundered my way through the early part of Final Fantasy 12.
Yep. She's like 7 feet tall. Coat Mello with the gift sub that he promised if I screamed, oh yeah. I did it and got in big trouble at home and on the stream as well. So we appreciate you, Coat Mello. Longtime friend of the show. Fran fan club is open for business, and the president and vice president is me and Bl'Art. She's 7 feet tall. She's like a bunny person. Bow and arrow. Her call is good in this game, apparently. I don't know. I was just about to pull her. I would have used all 500 of my tickets if I had to. Don't know what she does. Don't know if I need her. Don't know if I want her. But she's a big favorite of a lot of people in the community because she's such a great character in her original game.
No, she's not.
Really, really big fans of her character development, her accent,
Story arc.
Her Greek accent, right?
What is it, Hungarian accent? I don't know.
Goose. Hopefully, Goose doesn't watch this back. He is convinced it is Norwegian.
It actually is Icelandic.
That's what it was. Icelandic. I knew it was one of those Scandinavian countries.
Yes, the Viera and FF12 do have Icelandic accents. That is actually true.
Yeah, she also, when you first see her, is riding like a freaking
No one
floating
told me about that hover bike. Her and Fran have a fucking hover bike. It's
Yeah,
the coolest thing.
that's right. That's right. She does. She does ride on a hover bike.
I thought the airship was gonna be like cool, but like the hover bike, that was sick.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody know what she does in the game? It's not really
She gets a
important.
debuff.
She does debuff. Her call.
Yeah.
She imperils ranged, right?
It's actually a gross oversimplification now, but they
It's a lot
gave
more
her
than
they gave her a rework which can be summed up as her skill 1 and skill 2 have more dumps and hit harder, so just touch those up, nothing special there. EX is the same. The LD is kind of funny for me because I've said this before, but LDs come in two forms. One kind of LD gives a character a new role, like Ramza's LD gave him delay in launch, or Cloud's LD gave him delay, or something like that. A new role, or even Pestle gave overheal. Fran's LD really goes hard in the other direction, which is just giving a character more of what they already do. What Fran does is provide a single stacking debuff called Viera's Punishment that stacks up and at each stack gains a new effect, and it just has a bunch of stuff compacted into one debuff slot. She also has a couple of other generics that don't really matter unless you're playing Golbez. Cough. But what this, what the debuff does is, I mean, it already had attack and defense and max brave and magic attack down and range imperil built into it. It is what the LD does is allows it to go up to 10 stacks, so it also gains what is it? Brave gain down 80%, HP damage up 30%. I want to say. Oh no, 15%. It maxes out at 30. The final stack doubles everything basically. But brave gain down, brave damage up, more speed down, I believe, and basically it's just a single really stacked debuff, and her on-turn damage is going to be like okay. The lack of refunds on her skills is going to kind of hurt her. She's not going to be dealing modern damage, as I like to call it. But she does have debuff start on her EX, which means that her call is very exciting. That being said, the call version of her debuff is nerfed pretty significantly. Although there's still so much stacked in there that it's still kind of worth it. Basically, it's like the HP damage goes from 30 to 10. The brave damage goes from 30 to 10. Although it's still 10% brave and HP damage. I think the speed down goes from 20 to 10. The brave gain down goes from 80 to 10, which is really funny to me. It's like, really? Wow.
I hate to interrupt again. Every time I hear numbers in this game, our discussion of this game, I just tune out, so I didn't hear anything you said. But it has 10 stacks?
correct.
It does indeed. And
her
so,
debuff stacks to 10 stages?
Well, here's the thing. It goes up each time anyone hits that enemy. So it's not that hard to stack it up. It's not like she has to keep reapplying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very much, you drop it and like it'll ramp. It has a ramp up time, but it's quick. It'll come pretty quickly. And using the LD itself will set it to 5 stacks immediately. So in the party, she's going to be doing great. As a call, she's still going to be very good because it's a nerfed version of they took all the power of this character and shoved it into this one debuff slot, kind of like Kurasame in a lot of ways. Yes, both characters have more things beside that they do. Like technically, she has a 45% max brave aura. I'm sure you care about that.
Big auras.
Big aura. It's rude level auras right there, guys. But realistically, all of her power is shoved into this one debuff, which has debuff start under your EX, and that means you have a couple of options. The LD call is still going to be very powerful, even though they nerfed it by it's a third of its power, more or less. It was still so representing so much of a character's power that a third of its power is still quite good, easily competitive with other calls around now. It gives you a little bit of everything, and it only takes up one slot, which I think is tremendous. I've been using Yuffie call a lot because that one slot is just really great real estate. Plays well with things like Faris or whatever. And so, on top of that, in this day and age, as you guys have probably done, friend units can be very powerful in this game as a swap in. Like you can do something like swap in like a Cloud of Darkness friend, X-Death friend, whatever, and do a lot of stuff while that friend unit's out. So you could even with Fran put her in the main party, swap her out early after getting the debuff loaded up to 10 or whatever, swap her out. The full main good debuff is on them, and now you have like another unit who's more powerful than her, who's bringing a whole. It's functionally like having 4 characters on the field in some ways. So I think she has some very interesting applications that I'm going to be trying out, including, like I said, the fact that she has healing magic very early in Final Fantasy XII, which has been very good for me.
Fan
Anyway,
club. Fan.
I've been talking for long. Yeah, no, Ron and I've been talking for a long time. So, Somegi,
Yes.
you wanna weigh in a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think her debuff is obviously really good. And I know a lot of people are planning to pull her just for her call, which is fair. I think she is probably one of the best calls in the game right now. Not good enough for me to think it's worth pulling personally for what I have on my roster. I don't really have much else to say, I guess.
You're not
Like-
gonna join the Fran fan club.
I mean, she's like the second most bland character in FF12.
Okay, first off, spoiler. Bl'Art is playing it, and second off, hard disagree. All sorts of character development and character backstory and all sorts of things.
When Raw uses the term character development or character backstory in this context, he's being metaphorical and talking about her body, of course.
No. You go and find. I don't want to cover your ears, Bart. You go and you find out where she's from. You meet a bunch of other Vieras.
Iceland?
Yeah, you go to Iceland, and it's a good time. I think she's great in the game. You can decide. We'll come back to this in like 6 months when you finally finish the game, but I think it's almost time to abandon this fool's errand.
You still got 9 minutes to get to the Lufenia Plus. You're doing just fine, I think.
It's just not going to happen. I'm going to have to go back.
You gotta believe. You gotta believe. You know what? Honestly, we'll still have like 45 minutes to do the actual Lufenia Plus. I'm fine extending this to 9:45 if depending on where. Is this the Cosmos?
No, we're like, I don't even know what this is. But one thing
It
we
can't
can
be a
do.
regular ass.
One thing we do want to touch base on a little bit later in the show is some JP stuff. Speaking of bland characters that have no character arcs and don't really matter in their own game, JP just released Luna Freya, and she got a BT. That's right, Luna Freya BT. Tell me one person who likes Luna Freya and why.
Well, Noctis for obvious reasons, but
That's true.
I mean, at this point, like, let's be real, every character's gonna get a BT at this point. I think Luna Freya is the first one we've seen where we don't have some kind of flimsy justification about being a protagonist or an antagonist or a Dissidia rep or something. But for me, even though he's iconic and is a Dissidia rep, as soon as Gilgamesh got one, I was like, okay, here it goes. They're all gonna get one. Also, actually, speaking of the Fran fan club and all that, I realized something. Some girl, do you have a blue Agrius by any chance?
I do not.
I do.
can respect your choice. So here's the thing: when Agrius came out, Zoe, Raw, and I all blued her, kind of coincidentally, but it became kind of a mascot thing. I think the three of us should find a unit to all blue in solidarity. It doesn't have to be immediately, and it doesn't have to be a meme, but I think having a new stream mascot to kind of usher in this new era for the stream might be appropriate.
Agrius.
What do you think about that?
Well, can I
Agrius.
interest you all in a blue Jegran?
No!
I knew that was where this was going.
No, I'll give you 3 options you guys can pick from. Agrius, Palom, Zidane. Those are the 3. One of those is going to be our mascot. Who wants the blue one of those?
I feel like I think in the spirit of this, if one of us already has the blue, we shouldn't be going in that direction.
I don't have a blue Zidane. We'll just do Zidane then. You guys blue and I'll
you don't have blue Zidane. Your Zidane isn't blue, really.
I'll blue him off stream, and then we'll come back and
oh really? Yeah. Okay. You
they'll
want
all be blue. I do want to touch on something. Speaking of blues, blue armor ingredients resources are like way harder for me than green BT mats. Why were we so
Oh,
worried
yeah.
about green BT mats? I was so worried. I was like trying to math
Yeah,
out like
no.
who can I green? Who can I green? I greened Kuja on a whim. I got his BT with tickets, and I was like, let's do it, man. Final Fantasy 9, let's ride Kuja. Greened him up, no problems.
You
I still
know,
have enough to do another one if I want it.
in my experience too, being truthful, like I feel like I mean I definitely have obviously more blues than greens, but it's been around longer, and it feels like I was even doing some napkin math to figure out kind of what I got to look forward to, and I feel like I'm gonna have more greens than blues at this rate. Not literally, just feeling wise.
I think you can buy blue armor mats, right? I just haven't done that.
Bishop is trying to ruin us, by the way.
Blue cow.
Blue gal. I don't. Can you blue his
Uh,
armor?
You can blue Gal. I believe Inkwelder has done so and is very sad about it. Because obviously he doesn't cap on like anything he does these days.
Who is your
Yeah,
Who's your least favorite, biggest mistake, Blue? Mine is on the screen right now, so I'll let you guess. It's not Tifa. Some girl. Do you have any regretful blues?
Not. I don't know. Let me look. I don't think I do. I like all my blues.
I have actually an easy answer here. Although Kuja might become it now that it's happened, because I greened him, so I blued him because you got it, and now I'm just feeling bad about that. To date, it has been Queen, I have to say. Not because she's a bad character. Not because she's a bad character. She's very good. What it comes down to is I don't enjoy using her. Her buttons feel kind of shit to press, and I don't have any attachment to the character. She's good and she gets the job done, but like it doesn't do it for me when I use her. And so like I look and I'm like, this could have been a character who I really feel like when I blued her, I was torn between bluing her and Ash, and I figured I think Queen will last a bit longer for me. Every time I use Ash, I like the turn manipulation, the EX charging, the animations, all like really kind of click the button for me. Like, yeah, no, this feels great. I enjoy doing this. This is fun. With
Final
Queen, I'm
Fantasy
like, I
12.
guess I have to. Let's see, it's happening. But with the Queen, I'm like, I guess I have to press her skill 1 now, don't I? Like, her EX is fun. I like her EX. Maybe I could build around that more and that would change my mind, but goddamn, like, when you're not pressing her EX or LD, I'm like, man, this feels kind of lame. That being said, very good character. There's a reason I blued her in the first place. That's the blue I kind of wish I could take back, because all the other blues I go out of my way to use, and with her I have to force myself to use her because I blued her.
It's funny you say that because I also have a blue queen, and she was my most used unit for the last 2 months of Lufania, and I've used her many times, Lufania Plus. I ran her in every single fight for a month straight.
I saw you and Joey were carrying up Queen, and she's very good. And not like I do not want to take away from Queen. Very powerful unit, and that's kind of why I did it. I thought that I was like I wanted to kind of ride that power. I was doing for challenge runs and things, but I think it just for some reason it didn't. The feel of the character isn't what I was looking for. Although I will say, if we can bully Raw into Blue and Queen, we may have found our mascot.
Well, I do like. I used Queen a lot. I like her, and she's about to get her C90, right? Like she's getting one of the first
that's true.
C90s, which is
her lost chapter is coming up in a.
That's
in a month.
actually awesome. I used her a lot. I don't think I blued her armor because it was early days. But even without blue, she was just her auras are not mid. Despite what you may have heard, they're not mid at all. And I also like characters with like the cool, crazy, unkillable phase when they're,
Cross, we're talking about Queen right now. We were talking about blue that we regretted, and that's how we got to talking about Queen.
Does anybody know how close I am to the Lufania Plus? Anybody?
I have no clue, but we're just gonna have to see what we can do.
Well, you're going down a series of quests called Dubious Dead Ends.
Wait a second, Raw. You're
going in the wrong direction.
Get out of this quest. Get out of this quest. Stop doing this quest. This is a waste of our time.
How is this? How do you know that this is wrong?
It's called
read the name of the
Dead
fight.
End.
Dubious Dead Ends is probably talking about the story chapter that we're skipping all of the. It looks like there's a bunch of new. I think there's a bunch of more. Let's see.
All right, we're on the last wave here. We'll find out anyway. By the way, I see I'm not Jenny asking, you guys, is Fran LD call work even without her EX?
I believe the answer is no.
I think. Well, I think the LD will probably apply the debuff, but I don't think you'll be able to use the EX. Or you won't be able to use the base call to extend it. Is my guess, but
We don't know though.
I actually don't know for certain. So don't quote me on that. But I suspect the LD would do it, and the EX would be needed to extend it on the base call. And Rod, you avoided saying that you are a couple of miles away from the challenge quest.
Yeah, that wasn't a dead end though. I was going the right way, just for the record, especially for posterity. I was not making a mistake. I was not making a mistake in going straight down a dead end.
I'm glad to hear that. I will tell you that I can read, and that means I can read chat just as well.
Fuck. A couple battles away from Chaos Challenge, so that means then we're a couple more battles after that away from Lufania.
Well, yeah, but you have to do the chaos.
I'm gonna take the time to do the challenge quest though, right? Oh no, I haven't built Fran.
Yeah, I'd say pull through the chaos and worry about the challenge later if we were trying to go for Loof.
Yeah, we were gonna try to go for Luffy. But who else got released in JP that's getting a video? Somebody got a BT Plus. Who was it? Oh,
well, yeah,
it's
the BT Ultimecia, yeah.
Finally.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see Ultimecia's. So I guess folks, friends in the chat, if you guys haven't seen it already, we'll be watching that video. I want to say once Raw's gotten to the Lufania, we'll make the call there whether we watch it before or after. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah, you guys can vote. Just this is a democracy here. You can vote just by screaming into the chat what you want to do, and then we'll just guess based on what we a cursory look at the chat tells us, and we'll go from there. That's true democracy. I'm not Johnny. I'm not Janie. Ulti rework is amazing. 4 to 6 HP dumps. Well, she needed a lot. A lot. Obviously, I don't know what her C90 was like, but or is this her C90? Wait,
This is her C90.
are you shitting me?
She hasn't. This is her
Also-
first time she's rerun since she got her BT.
Oh my god. Yeah, she needed a hell of a lot, man. Ulti was amazing back in the day. Other than a mid-Italian, the only turn deleter we had, and I loved using her in her heyday.
Oh yeah, Ulti was one of the characters for me where I had zero interest. Then I lucked in, but I got her burst while chasing Balthier when he dropped as an LD as a GL first. So I went back, picked the LD, and started using her, and I fell in love with her. She was so much fun to play, and she was really great for like big brain 0-turn runs or like challenge runs, or she ended up having surprising longevity, slotting in as like the mage to fill in for like during Terra cycle. She was a great Terra replacement, et cetera, et cetera. I could go on, but basically, she during the time I used her was fantastic. And I know when she came out in Chaos, I want to say she was a wrecking truck.
Yeah, and Chad is saying that she got everything she needed, so good for her.
Oh my god, her 6 turns of deletion, and Golbez here with his 4 turns of freeze, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I got Ultimecia's BT when it came out, and I honestly hated using her, but I'm glad that other people liked her.
The duality therein, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing about this game is play styles. People talk about play styles a lot. You want to know my play style? Fucking smashing, destroying fights without them ever moving, delaying, deleting them to nothingness. Every Lufania orb that requires the enemy to move is the bane of my existence. I want to stack debuffs and stack buffs and build my team into just a wrecking ball and delete them from ever moving and then just crush them without resistance. I don't know what that says about me, but that's my playstyle. So
I was surprised you didn't just say that your playstyle was winning.
Oh,
I feel like that would have been easy.
God, it was right there.
Would have been a great bit for the burst phase. If and when we ever get the project running up, I'm saying it here again, so chat knows we haven't forgot about it. We've run into some technical issues getting it off the ground, but it's in the works one day.
We're gonna do it.
Highlight reel clip show kind of summation that we'll be rolling out one day.
It'll be mostly clips of me failing Lufania Pluses, Bl'Art Copium, and Somegi being a hipster. But
Wow.
You need a couple streams to build up more of a characterization, and then we'll have something for you. Because it's especially ironic given the Jegran conversation earlier. Calling you a hipster seems a little unfair given the balanced take you're taking.
I
God,
feel like
I'd
I've
be
always
torn not
given
to talk about
balanced
it.
takes.
You do, but you also take characters who other people consider underwhelming, and then they assume that you're going to white knight them because that's what everyone else does with the characters they like. And then they don't.
All
And then you
characters
don't.
are shitty.
but-
Like,
oh boy.
All I'm saying is most of this community consists of people like standing their favorite characters and yelling about it from the rooftops. I'm looking at you, Yin is in the chat. Well, I'm looking at you, Blind Eye, and I mean that with love because I love Jack Guy. But you're also, I mean, you're playing with a guy who has Golbez for his goddamn Discord icon, for Christ's sake.
yeah.
So the fact you even more hipster is the fact that you don't do these things. You're not like, hey guys, you're growing really good, and we're like, we don't know how to respond to this kind of even and balanced. Oh my god, the ghosts are back. I thought they were gone.
Did you hear that?
That was scary. You know the weird thing? My neighbors, they're not here. They went down to Colombia for the holidays, so I don't know who's up there right now.
I told you it was a ghost, man.
Goddamn ghosts haunting me right now.
Oh, I should have battle cried first. Apparently, Treevoid is saying the Chaos Challenge is a bit tanky, so hold on to your
You are
seats.
planning on bringing triple BT to it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a
Hell yeah.
1% run and just destroy it and get out of there.
That's the spirit.
We're
You
making
know
good
who's
time.
synergy and doesn't care about high defense.
Fran?
The sales pitch.
Is it Fran? Oh, Mog.
Yeah, that's
Mog.
it. He has got the
You have to-
enchant peril going.
You have
Like,
to remember, he swore an oath never to speak of him again on stream.
Yes, it's Mog. Mog is the last character that I pulled the full kit for and didn't get the Lufania armor for. I hate him so much. He's got a special place as one of the only characters other than Emperor that I have a kit for that I just am not. I don't buy the Lufania armor for. I don't hoard. Hoarding is a disease, and it's disgusting. So when I pull a character, no matter how much or how little I'm going to use them, I at least buy their Lufania armor. Don't blue it, but just buy it. Not so for Mog. I hate him and everything he stands for. To the point.
why?
Where he's just what? Why? He's a.
I mean, I don't like him either,
He's a
but I'd be
Moogle.
curious what the cause of your hatred is.
He's a Moogle. I don't get it. I've never understood the Moogles. I've never understood
We
why
all
people
hate
like.
small furry characters.
I hate him. You guys talk about Mog real quick. I have to
No
use the
attention to his
bathroom.
favorite character, though.
I know that we're on a rush, but you know how high life gets me. I gotta step away. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh,
All
boy.
right.
There he goes.
I think the
Friends,
point about like getting
64.
Lufania armor for everyone's like pretty interesting though, because it's something that I've sort of gone back and forth on, I guess. Like when Lufania armor first dropped, I was like, I gotta hoard these, because people were saying like, oh, you can exchange these for blue armor later on, and like that's gonna be like really important. So I was like, oh, I can't blue anybody's armor, and I think by the time we got to like the month with Terra and Garland, I had like 5 Lufania armors total. Like I hoarded crazy hardcore. And then I was like, what am I hoarding these for? And I started buying them for everybody. But now I'm kind of like, but I could just not buy high armor for characters and get more blues because blue armors are really fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was in a similar boat where I bought high armored for people because it's like, okay, it's one Lufania stage for a high armor, and it has a pretty decent effect, and it kind of rounds out the character and kind of completes, and that's fine. When it first came out, I was very, very choosy about who I gave it to. And basically, if they didn't have tactics or the damage dealer armor, I didn't touch it. Maybe Unity if I was feeling spicy. But then I kind of midway through, I was like, what am I doing? And just started giving it to everyone that I used. And now looking back, I kind of wish I didn't do that because,
Same.
like, I look at characters like I don't know, most of my roster, honestly, but like I look at Ignis, who I barely ever use, or I look at it doesn't matter. The point being, I look at him like, you could be a piece of another blue armor for a character I
Yeah,
actually
like-
go out of my way to use, and that's so I think that's just it's funny. I think there was a pushback that we both experienced midway through, where it's like the people who said the horde were wrong, we shouldn't be doing this, and then we're like, oh no, wait, no, we should have. Damn.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, man, like, did I really need to buy like Panelo's high armor? Like, I don't think I did.
Oh, exactly. That was a mistake, and we learned from it. But
How many levels of this stage are there? How many stairs?
Tree Void has assured us you are 2 fights away from the Chaos fight. And this is after having said a couple of fights. There was a redaction in chat on that one.
Oh, I know where this location is. Yeah, you can't be far off from the end now.
Oh my god.
You just gotta believe. Also, why is Tifa still on this team for the multi-way fight?
She's great at AoE damage. So.
Oh, of course. She's
a lot of splash. A lot of splash in her kit. A lot of AoE. Just
we need to work on your speedrun strats.
Is that a bother? I'm a speedrunner.
Auto plussing too, very powerful.
I guess like Tifa probably doesn't get a lot of turns. She's not that fast without her buffs up.
Yeah, I kind of
Okay.
put her in because you never know when the story chapter will give you just one mannequin who has like a
Yeah,
million HP.
that is fair. That's fair.
Well, that's what you use the friend unit for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't used my friend unit yet either in this speed run, but I think I'm making pretty good time. I'm skipping all the cutscenes. I'm skipping. Oh, fucking Tifa turn. I'm skipping all the cutscenes, and I am trying to avoid all the optional, more stage, more gems. Yeah, I'm gonna do all the stages eventually, but at the moment, I'm just trying to get to the Lufania so I can crush it on stream.
Exactly.
Because if I were to crush the one from last week, everyone would say, "Oh, you already beat this one, but you're no." I'm gonna blind run the new Lufania as we normally do.
So who are you bringing?
What's the orb? Does it matter?
Yeah.
I'll just cover all my
yeah.
bases, and whatever the orb possibly could be, I'll make a team that can cover it.
Just bring every character in the game.
You could bring every character in the game. And that green the green twins. I have the green twins B team. I just haven't. Hello, Chris. Chris 5258. Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Canonically, my favorite DFFOO streamer, and now canonically my favorite First Soldier streamer. Chris is branching out into the world of the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale game, First Soldier, and he's killing it. You guys, well, who am I talking to? A bunch of people who already follow him probably, but if you don't, follow him because he's really good at that First Soldier game also. Having a lot of fun watching that. I wish it was on like a PlayStation. You can't play it on PlayStation, but if you could, I would probably do that. I'm a Fortnite guy. You guys know that about me. I'm a Fortnite dude.
It's true. The man only plays with Fortnite.
I do. I'm a big Fortnite.
I have witnessed this.
That's right. I Fortnite. I drop tilted towers. I fucking crank 90s. So I think I'd be great at that game if it was on console, but it's not. Chris got Jegran. Very nice. Very nice. Final Fantasy VII First Soldier will come to PC some way next year. Okay.
Hell yeah, Chris getting Fran and Jegran. That's nice.
We're speed running the story chapter so we can get to Lufania.
Got the speedrun strats.
And I'm struggling. Did anybody know what the orb is? Is anybody gonna?
Yeah.
Yes, there's two conditions. One is the same as the Jegran story fight, where if you have a stacked debuff, Then it ticks up on their turns. There's also a secondary condition for hitting ranged weakness damage.
Are they natively weak to range?
I'm going to
assume
assume
not.
no, but I haven't actually looked.
And yeah, the stack debuff has to be 3 stacks instead of 2. Grunt fight is 2 stacks, it has to be 3 or more, and the boss has to act. Or I think it also ticks up if you push them under threshold while they're under the effect of that debuff.
Okay,
So once
Jackal,
again, not
Kurasame call, giving him turns already is giving me heartburn.
I mean,
Well, you can do the no turns chat with ranged weakness damage.
I need to know if they're weak.
You
Even
have
if they're not,
Fran.
I mean-
You just pulled her.
yeah,
I have
use
to. I
Fran,
don't want
or
to build her right now.
okay, you could use Irvine base call to give them range weak and peril.
I do have Irvine base call. Is this what
That's
the?
big brain size.
This is the chaos.
Okay, so just hit him with the boom. Get him with the.
Swap out Yuffie and Palom for this one. Do something really brutal.
How you like me now?
That is pretty brutal.
Ooh, I like what I'm seeing here. Ooh, spicy. Yeah.
I'll run this for the Lufania too. How about them apples? So
I could see it.
What This is the end of the field. You have to go back to another level to do the Lufania.
That might be the case. I don't know. I haven't done it.
Yeah, sometimes it does that. I don't know. Or I think, yeah, no, that's what Nidra said, is it's one of those where you have to go back. It opens a gate on another floor.
That's kind of a shame. I actually really
Yeah.
like what they've been doing, where like a lot of the story fights have been like the actual story bosses were the Lufania. Because I always felt kind of weird when like you'd go through this whole story and they're like building up to the big fight against the villain, and it's like, oh, the big Cloud of Darkness fight, and then you beat the Cloud of Darkness and it opens up some random like fight against some dragon or something.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah,
this is
no.
Lufania.
I completely agree. Kind of unimpressive when that happens.
And I feel like, you know, like the Jegran fight was against the villain, and that was the Lufania.
Yeah, that felt good.
It seems like they're going to do that more in the coming months based on what I've seen of the coming story chapters, which is exciting.
Yeah, I like that because having the final fight actually be like not even just the final fight of the stage, like not even be the final fight of the story, but actually be like the final boss of Crystal Bears was pretty dope, I think.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was an awesome reference. And a lot of the attacks are taken from the fight. The Jegran fighting barrels is pretty cool.
You know, I had one big disappointment, not with the fight, but with the community's reaction to that fight. Because I was certain that someone in our, like, one of the shit posters in our community was going to do like a SpongeBob Jegran fight crossover for and here comes the giant fist. Because every time he did that attack, I just heard Patrick shouting in my ear, like, here comes the giant fist. Which might be a deep cut for some of you, but if you can't grok a good SpongeBob reference, I don't want to mess with you.
I was disappointed that he was immune to launch. Why, with Kais and Lael as the heroes of your game, is the boss immune to launch? Make it make sense.
I heard this from another Crystal Bears fan that I frequent.
You know, two Crystal Bears fans.
There are indeed. I've name dropped both of them on the stream today. But apparently it's because in the actual fight with him, you can't use Lael's power on the ship. You have to use Lael's power to pick up like a turret and like shoot him or something. So you don't actually launch him in the game.
It's a bit violent.
Oh yeah, speaking of shipload, Cross 18 shared a Shantoto BT Plus in under 25 seconds video that was to the point, is what I will say. It was concise.
Look at that fat Zidane damage. Utility.
Honestly, seeing big numbers just always feels good in this game. Like I'm just enjoying watching that.
Turn delete. Battery. Healing. Huge DPS. Massive DPS. And y'all said he was the worst. Y'all said he was the worst.
Ro-
Green.
Rob, why does he need healing if he deletes the enemy turns? That seems very useless.
HP poison. In case you get a HP poison.
He thought of everything.
All your bases are covered, baby. Cross 13's almost to 500 subs, man. Shout out Cross 13. Growing like a rash. Is that good? Is that mean? Or that's a good thing to say, right? Yeah, growing like a rash. Growing like a.
Don't know about that one.
Growing like a mushroom. He's growing like a mushroom.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it.
What's something good that grows fast? Growing like a.
Press that Kuja LD. I want to see big numbers.
We don't need.
Why are you pressing buttons that aren't LDs?
I'm trying to think of an analogy for crossing.
That could have been such a big Kuja LD though.
You want to see You want to see big numbers? I got big numbers for
Give me
you,
a big
baby.
number. Give me a big number.
Boom! Give me some of this. Brrrah! Cap. Brrrah! Cap. Boom. How you like me now? Zidane doesn't do big damage.
I love how Zidane's like capped on Brave at 37,000.
I'm
It's
sure.
really the
I'm
1%
sure his
team,
Max
isn't it?
Brave. I think his Max Brave buff comes from his EX or something. I don't remember what it is.
It does. That's correct.
Okay, so yeah, so that's why. But still, he doesn't need high Max Brave. He's just
The kind
HP
of cool
cap.
thing about Zidane is that all of his buffs, like the skills, they buff his stat and debuff the same stat for the enemy. So he's kind of like stealing their stats. It's like his
They
EX.
must have-
thief.
That must have been intentional. That's
Like a
cool.
thief. He's a thief.
Like he gets the
You know.
defense buff and the defense down on him.
I gotta say, Raw.
Free energy.
T-Sam is making a point that 374,000 on that LD. That's almost Jegran damage.
That's almost Golbez damage.
Excuse me.
Oh, that is almost Golbez damage, my man.
Excuse me. Does Jegran or Golbez heal? No. Did Jegran or Golbez delete turns? No.
Golbez reverse heals with the Brave Freeze.
Reverse heals.
Okay, we're done. Oh,
Alright, you did it. You beat the story.
All right,
It's over.
thanks you guys. That was the
Good stream.
Lufania Plus. Now I have to search through the 3 levels of this field to find the.
There's 3 of them. It'll take you like 30 seconds.
Oh my God! There's 5 of them.
Oh,
that's
this is terrible.
Section 1.
If only you would speedrun
Well,
harder.
no, because the first one is the last story.
All right, we made it. 9:52. Not bad.
All right.
There's a couple fights left. And then we'll
Damn it.
Jesus.
And then before we hop in, we'll. So, he's asking a great question here because originally we envisioned 9:30, and then we decided 9:45. And in my head now, I'm just saying, if we can get to this fight before 10 o'clock, then that'll give Raw time to do like one run of it, which is
all I
off,
need.
of course.
That's all I
Thanks
need.
for bringing the 1% team to this trash node.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Don't worry, Zidane has it. Zidane has AOE. See, boom. You got everything. Jekt has AOE. Oh, look,
Yes,
we're
yes,
good.
defense up, defense down on that skill.
Everyone has AOE.
Oh, Drez, thank you for
Drez.
the hydrate. And earlier, someone, I can't remember who, redeemed a posture check in the middle of Amino rant, and we completely forgot about it. So everyone, check your posture. Make sure your spine is aligned and, your shoulders are rolled back and your, back is not hurting.
I'm trying to think of the most raw life team I can bring to this. Just like a team that shouldn't work, but I will just will it to work, mostly because it's overpowered in other ways. That's kind of like my calling card, Something that's just poor team building that shouldn't work, but does work because of a combination of determination and just overpowering strength. Irvine? Do we bring Irvine to the Lufania Plus?
You could try. I mean, if you're heavy Kira, you probably could.
Hey, I think that was Laguna, but still good. No, was it? Was it? Yeah, he did Laguna. Didn't he?
Yeah, he was. I thought he did both. I heard about him doing Laguna. He was running Irvine when I checked in on his stream, but that was a while ago. And
Twintania.
Trez, Drez, I do not know the answer to your question, but Drez is asking if the Yuffie cheese ever happened for Garnets at Twine Wells. I never heard anything about it happening, so either it hasn't happened or people just didn't notice.
Jesus. Cannot be delayed. Cannot lose turn. Is that real? Or is that just that's just
okay?
from
So
its-
when this boss's recast bar fills up, I think it's when the recast bar fills up, it'll start powering up for Giga Flare, at which point it will lower its defense, frame its turn, and get ready to blow you up. It won't kill you, of course, but and that actually is a reference to this boss's mechanics in Final Fantasy V.
Which you will see one day.
This is from Final Fantasy V?
Yeah, this is a Final Fantasy V boss, Quintania.
Okay, where's the
I remember being
So
very
if the
confused.
recast bar never fills, actually it probably fills at thresholds or something.
60
I
turns,
guess.
so we should be able to just burn the hell out of this guy. Debuff level, so I'll bring Kurasame and Jack calls, and I guess a Fran call. Weakness, ranged brave damage. The fuck?
Oh, so they're not weak to range, so you would need to bring Irvine call or
The way
Fran
that's
call if you
worded,
wanted
would
to
this
work.
count like if you had an enchant and imperil unit with range damage?
I think
That's a good
that'd be.
question.
I think it would consider it elemental weak damage though, not range.
But that's not. It didn't say range. It said weakness with range damage.
That's a good question. The way it's worded, it sounds like it would work that way, but I feel like the spirit of the thing is not. That's not how they would want it to work. You know,
But
I
maybe,
said I don't know the answer to that.
maybe we can get away with it.
we could. I mean, we could try it. That'd be funny if it did work that way.
Sorry, I'm gonna bring her LD call. Right?
There you go.
That's
Don't
what
forget.
you do.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. Do the thing.
Yeah, we'll get her. I don't know for the main party. Who's ranged? Kane. I can do Kane.
Kane's ranged. Titus
And
has
Kane
a
with
range
Return
follow.
Stealer, as long as you imperil ranged, is
Yeah, you could do Kane
super
with a
brain dead.
Turnsler.
I'll do Kane, Zidane, support. Right?
Right.
I can see that. I can see that working.
Wait, what am I doing? I gotta do her boards.
Can't do that board. You got 3 minutes before it becomes irrevocably. I don't know. I have no idea how to pay out the prediction for this one because I feel like we told the chat one thing and then something else happened. You know.
No, if we made it, we made it. Spirit of the question. Why is one of them not open? What is that for? Oh, she's not purple?
That's awkward. You're gonna want that.
Did you purple her EX?
Looks like not.
What the frick? I thought I used her in her early days. Maybe I just used her base EX. Bows. 12. Moment of truth. Oh, that's fine. We'll purple her. I'm running short on ingots.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Not hoarding enough.
I actually have several LDs that I have not ingoted because I want to save them.
LDs or EXs?
I mean, I have the LDs of the character, but I did not purple their EX.
Oh, I see. You have LDs and then you have. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh wait,
And a
isn't
couple of
there
them are like
orbs?
free polls.
Isn't there orbs that that will inflict weakness or brave, like brave, imperil?
What? Brave in peril?
Aren't there
Pardon?
brave imperil orbs? I'm pretty sure there are.
What are you
I mean,
talking about?
range.
When you say brave in range peril, orb?
Sphere.
Oh, spheres. Spheres. No, there aren't. There's no
No.
such thing as a range in peril sphere.
Agree to disagree. We'll move on.
Okay, we can disagree on this indisputable fact.
What?
Agree to disagree. Somebody come up with my third. I bet you we can beat this with just Kane, Zidane, and just any relevant. Has to be relevant
Garnet.
support. Fuck. Okay. It's not enough ranged. Well, I guess Kane's gonna be doing range all the fucking
Every turn, yeah.
That's fine. I keep going to the wrong screen. Training boards. Okay, Zidane, Garnet, Kane, Kurasame, Jack, Fran? No, I need Irvine.
No, Fran got you covered for the weakness. Her called it that.
Yeah, Fran imperils weakness. That's why you're bringing her.
Okay.
I kind of want to ask why you have a bunch of like Vayne artifacts flying around, but I guess it's not important.
I was building. I did get Vayne LD. I didn't get his BT, but I do have an LD Vayne that's built up. So I was getting his attack 108 Imperial console boosts, and I got them all.
That makes sense. I guess they've been sitting there since then. You haven't had to build any other artifacts since then?
No, I have it set to only use my artifact orbs.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know why, because I could just be using old artifacts, but I have so many artifact orbs from.
I'm seeing something dumb. You're gonna have to go back into that menu.
Yeah, she's not level 80, sea level.
Cool. I gotta say, we sped run the map reasonably quickly given the circumstances, but we have not sped run these menus effectively.
The menus are hard. The actual story chapter was easy. The menus are hard as fuck.
This is the real Lufenia Plus.
Yeah, I should sweep the Lufenia Plus, but the menus and the slow system is just pain in my ass. Alright, we're done now. We're done. Once I do this, boom. Boom, she's perfect.
Here we go. That's what we like to see.
All right, let's get to work. Zidane, Kane, and Garnet. Do I have to use Garnet? Can I over?
Why don't you want to use Garnet?
Because I've used her in so many as Zidane Saga, but I guess. Oh, this will be another one of those nice parts of the saga where I don't have to I don't even make a YouTube video for it. I just put in the description of the next one that I did it on stream and link Blart's video of the stream. Easy money.
Have you been submitting the successful stream videos to the Call to Arms? I'm sure Macdonald would love having a 2-hour video somewhere in there.
No, I
put a timestamp.
I haven't. Garnet's not blue, I forgot. I haven't used Kane, but I built him and got him all the way ready, so he is ready.
He's pretty nifty. I'm probably going to do him here myself. I think it's time for me to resurrect the Vayne Kane Pain Train.
Vayne Kane Pain Train. He's not blue either. That's fine. LD,
and you know I'll be pulling for Pain LD when it comes out.
LD, jump. That's it. LD and jump.
All right. Well, you get ready to do that. Trez is saving the fact that we're all just sitting there. We've been kind of sitting here for the past 5 minutes staring as you do menus, not really discussing. And Trez has a good question. Who would you all say are the top 3 DPS units right now?
Hot take. Jack, Twins, and Zach. Hey, those chain slashes. I saw BC do some 1.2 million chain slashes. So those are my answers, and I'm not going to change based on statistical facts.
That's fair. Girl, do you have thoughts on this?
Don't
say it. I know what you want to say. Say it.
No, I think this is a hard question to answer because we're talking about ceilings. Are we talking about floors?
I guess
talking about DPSs.
Well, yeah, we're not looking for. I guess we're not going to look here for kind of nuanced takes as roll coverage and stuff. Just I guess what's a good way to oversimplify this? if you were to tell a new player to invest their resources in a single character for damage carrying that has come out between, right now in Lufania Plus, going forward, let's say they had the LD packet. Ignore the details of how this question is being set up.
Okay.
Who would you recommend to a new player to invest in to be their sole damage dealer from now until they can build up resources again to pull for another character?
Say for Machina.
Come on. Okay, so yeah, we know.
I feel
Machina's really good.
like Jekt for sure.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think we're all in agreement that Jekt is definitely easily on that list.
Obviously, I want to say Jegran, but you guys will make fun of me if I say that.
I mean, he's on my. I'm thinking about saying him as well, just because at the end of the day, having a BT plus is a big deal. Like that's a lot of bonus damage you're getting on top of everything else. So if you want a character to bring damage, regardless of how it's being done, the damage is happening if you have the BT plus and are running him. And we're assuming everyone is running at the max potential. So like, yeah, Shadow's cool, Zach is cool, but like, will Zach be out damaging Jegran with his BT plus in a fight? Honestly, the answer to that could be a maybe, because Zach could do some stupid things right now, and I think he's actually a great call on Raw's part. But I think Jegran is a respectable choice in this moment, ignoring who's coming
And
right
then
around the corner.
I would put my third as Ace.
Ooh, Ace, I like
Yeah.
that. That's a good one.
Over the course of a fight, Ace does some insane damage. Fran call. You do regular and then LD. LD or
Other way
No.
around. Other way around.
LD.
LD lets you go up to 10 stacks, and you can't do that with the base call. So you use the base call to extend the LD call before it falls off.
Correct.
Okay.
Before you do that, I don't know if you want to delete this one beforehand.
Too late. She didn't break
Not
anyway.
sure if it's AoE or whatever. Oh,
She
nice.
didn't break.
Powerful.
All part of the plan, baby. I knew she wasn't gonna break. Haven't used her. Don't know anything about her damage or potencies, but I just knew in my
Masterful.
heart.
He plays by sense of instinct, by heart, and he just felt in his bones it wouldn't break. The best default player in the game, ladies and gentlemen.
These guys gotta be real soft because the turn count's 60, right? So
I imagine so, unless people are just really blowing them up super hard with like a lot of defense down calls and stuff.
4 turns. What is that number? 8. So they have 4 turns
Of 8 stacks.
8 stacks, and every time I hit them with anything, the stacks
The
go
stacks
up.
go up to 10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm in this. I got it. Damn, that damage, Zidane. Jesus, man.
Yeah, this guy's broken.
Fuck.
This
I
is
guess-
why you have a Jack call and a...
I guess they're not gonna get many turns. So I'm gonna throw Jack in. Want to curse on
Yeah, no, you don't want to get it. Yeah, you shut him down. I am kind of wondering if Garnet's going to provide enough party auras to make this work when the BT's not in effect.
Her Thunder Stance is good. I don't ever use. Are you supposed to use her Water Stance? I never
I
use her Water
think-
Stance for any reason. It's like you
I
need Brave
think
and
Thunder
Max-
Stance is probably better, but I don't really know how to use Garnet, so I can't really tell you.
I don't have her LD either, so...
I don't know what is specifically going on, but these guys, I do need to really, really raise their or lower their defense because everyone's hitting for shit.
Well, the Jack call's getting stacks. That'll help a lot.
And the orb is ranged weak damage, but they're weak to range
Right.
now because of the debuff, right?
Fran call, correct.
So I can't throw up.
So if you get Kane in the air,
LD and then jump. That's his whole thing, right? You don't use his skills.
and you do sometimes have to use his skills.
Yeah, I think I was gonna set up a poll for whether or not he's clearing. I feel like I'm raking CSAM over the coals here since we kept moving the goalposts. What do you guys think? Well, at the same
Yes,
time,
I made it.
I'd also,
I made
I
it.
guess, yeah. All right, sorry, Sweet Sam. There's a lot of people writing on this being a yes.
We fucked up another poll. It only does 2. Oh, but he's going to be doing that every turn.
Correct.
I've also started to burst really early in all of my Zidane runs because I like to do the burst and the BT finisher later because typically the damage is going to be higher earlier in the fight, right? Because
I think that's a good strategy for almost all BT plus characters.
I used to never do that. I used to always save the BT for the end, like be like, oh, I need to save this for the, gotta have ready to go at the end. But really, when you think about it, if you're gonna get a BT phase, the highest numbers you're gonna do is gonna be early. Genius.
The only exception is if you want to have the BT aura for the BT phase.
Yeah, if you want to wait and chew up the.
Which some characters probably do, but I don't think Zidane's really one of them.
No. Oh shit! Is this a free turn? No. Whew.
Nope.
Y'all hear that? I'm gonna crank the music real quick. Yeah. Tell me who has a better BT music, other than Jack. Nobody. The answer's nobody.
Am I allowed to say Jegran?
I haven't heard it, but I'm sure it's not
It's the same
good.
as Lael's. Have you heard Lael's BT theme?
No, I have Lael's BT and I never used it.
Missing out, it's a good theme. I actually think you'd really like the theme. It goes pretty hard.
Oh, Kane holds his
Yeah.
Kane holds his brave when he joins in a launch.
He does.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat little. He's a launch guy, right? So he does. It makes sense. He launches.
But yeah, I mean, he holds his brave on his follow-ups too. It's not just launches.
Yeah. I like Kane. This is fun. What scene does this song play in FFX? Dress. Let me crack my knuckles and give you a little Final Fantasy IX advertisement. So, scene. Inside Pandemonium. Zidane has just learned the truth of his nature and the truth of his birth. He is understandably destroyed emotionally, physically, mentally, at the lowest point. And then all of his friends, one by one, come to make him feel better. And he says, "Leave me alone. I don't need you." Just being a big old jerk. And I don't want to spoil anything, but then the most emotional peak fiction moment in all of Final Fantasy history happens, and this music starts playing. So, play Final Fantasy IX.
Anyway.
4 million BT phase for a non-damage dealer in a Lufania Plus.
Non-damage.
Non-damage dealer. Wait, what?
He's not a DPS. Zidane's not a DPS. He does damage. Everyone does damage. His main thing is deleting turns. That's what he does. He's a turn deleter and a turn stealer.
I will say that in this day and age, Zidane's damage is closer to what I'd want a support to be doing.
That's true.
Okay.
But, I mean, in this day and age, like what, people with full character or whatever. Speaking of, actually, Drez is has asked a question, which CSAM's answered already, and I think I agree with him. But do you guys think that at this stage, greening Zidane is worth it, given the number of no boss turn options we'll have going forward, or fights that allow for no boss turn?
No.
No.
And no.
I hate
Drez, there you go.
yeah,
I appreciate you asking the question.
Yeah, love him.
I mean-
love him to death, man. I will die for this character. Love his kit. Have so much fun with him. I have his Zidane Saga. Check out my YouTube. I've done every fight with him since he came out. Absolutely love his character, but the answer is no. With the options you have moving forward, especially if you are at a point with your resources that you're having to you're considering who to BT, who not to. His time has passed. Sure, he can delete turns, but
like I would say, only do that if Sazhan's a favorite. But if Sazhan's a favorite, you already greened him, so you wouldn't be asking the question.
Yeah, not ideal. If you absolutely love deleting turns, then maybe it'd be fun, but I can't, in good conscience, recommend anyone greens on today, December 27th.
Wait, hold up. Were you not the one who was just saying how we should all blue Zidane?
It's a bit. All right, I gotta be honest. Zidane's great if you love using him. He's the funnest kit. If you love his kit, then green him. Yeah, but Kane landed. I don't want to use any of his skills. His skills suck.
They're pretty dire.
LT him back into the sky, I guess.
Hiyoro.
But Hiyoro first. Yeah, hell yeah.
Why?
Get more stacks. Get the party enchant.
Yeah, it's gonna boost the stacks. Do it. Drop it.
Yeah, this is a real question. I'm not doing a bit. Why does Hiyoro stacks lower without them taking? I know they go up when they take turns. How does Hiyoro work? Does anybody want to go?
So the way,
for our fans?
So let me explain how
Yeah.
I have used Kurasame in the party a lot. I have a blue Kurasame,
Perfect.
so I can tell you how he works.
Perfect.
So it stacks go up to 5, and they tick up on the enemy turns. And if the enemy is at 5 stacks, they tick back down to 1, so they loop back around. So playing him in the party is actually I think he's a really fun character the way his kit works, because you have to be careful. Like, all right, like I want to get the stacks to 4. Maybe I don't want to push him to 5 because then I'll lose the big stacks if the enemy's going to get a turn soon. So you kind of gotta be careful.
One little bit of trivia about Kurisame's call action, or his debuff. If the enemy is confused or paralyzed when they're at 5 stacks, it won't tick down to 1.
That is correct.
Just a funny little interaction. I think HP. I was told, I haven't tested, that HP Silence and Terror do not have that interaction.
I'd have to check.
I don't know for certain, but someone told me when I mentioned in one of my videos, and someone said like, "Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It has to be for like XYZ actions, but not for ABC actions." But I haven't tested exactly which ones are which.
It's funny because I know I've run Kurasame with Eldnarsh, like both in the party at the same time, and I don't actually know the answer to that.
Yeah,
because it never really came up.
Now I'm curious, but that's just a fun little trick or a fun little effect if you want to maximize that uptime. Because I personally get kind of obsessive about trying to maximize how many stacks I'm going to get away with it. Okay, once it's at 5 stacks, if the enemies are taking turns, okay, now I do all my damage, and okay, it's down to 1 stack. Wait for it to tick back up, or use the LD to refresh. I feel like I spend more time worrying about the Kurasame thing than I do about the actual mechanics of the fight. And yes, Drez, Eldar, I think is the only non-BT plus at this time.
That is correct, with Ultimate BT plus coming.
I've made a decision. I didn't go into the description, but I want to no-turn them. I'm not really worried unless they get very, very, very much tankier after 50. I don't think it's going to be a problem, so I went ahead and burn my summon to keep them from...
I would have summoned there too. Yeah. I think I was going to
Bot 8400, first time chatter. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Currently in JP, yes, Ulti is getting hers. Yes, thank you for joining us. Friend of the show. New friends.
I gotta say, Bot, I'm very glad that your first comment here was clarifying you played JP or clarifying about JP, because otherwise I saw your name and I was like, oh, it's a bot, we gotta ban those. So good catch. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you for discussing.
Almost misjudged you. My apologies.
I'm excited to see Eldnarsh's BT plus. You all know how much I like using that character.
They're going to extend the duration to 12 turns and make, I don't know, what else could they do for him? What tricks would they give him, in your opinion, as an Eldar fan?
Make him fun.
Obviously, I think he's super fun, but
HP plus with a better animation.
I crack myself up.
so right now he actually has like I don't think any of you all have used his BT before, but he has
I used your friend unit BT once, and I fucked up using it too. There's a video of that. The short version is it ended up eating my own Eldar terrors, so the enemies ended up able to act. So it was a total travesty.
so right now it has like massive brave cap up for the party. I would like it to have some HP cap up and like HP damage and all that stuff because he kind of something to make his HP plus his cap would be nice. But I mean, obviously he's going to need a full kit rework. So
Yeah,
who
the
knows
usual
how that would.
and whatnot. I mean, seeing D90 for him will be interesting because he plays around his EX so much. I'd be interested to see, like, are they going to, like,
Yeah.
would they make the recast shorter or something like that? Would they do that? Shelton Cruz now following. Howdy, Shelton.
Would they just extend terror to be longer?
Yeah, then maybe they do that. I'm like, how are they going to play around with that? And also, Drez is asking, how do we feel about Luna Freya getting a BT? Do we have feelings on that subject? I feel like if anyone, Brawl probably has the most opinion on that, right? Is your Final Fantasy 15 guy?
Hey, I like FF15.
I fucking hated it. So, I guess like some.
You should BT. No,
should what?
I would have used the BT finisher there, while you still had one turn of the effect, so it hit harder.
I didn't enjoy Final Fantasy 15, and more over. I didn't play any of the DLCs, so I don't know if she has bigger.
Her DLC got canceled.
Okay, so I really have to say she is. I think it's stupid. I don't get. I guess everyone's getting a BT now at some point, so it's fine. But for me, just why? Not really. I don't really feel it, but whatever. I'm not a hater. I don't care. Somegi?
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of a nothing character in the game where they kind of just gave her nothing story-wise for the entire game. So I think it's a bit of an odd choice to give her a BT. But I mean, I like her design. I think her design in the game looks really nice.
Is this the Lufania? Not the Lufania. No, it is. Holy fuck. Welcome to garbage time, folks. Jesus Christ. I have not even used the twins' friend. Are you guys seeing this?
Yeah,
Welcome to garbage time proper. By the way, Zidane feeds off breaking enemies without having to use his HP plus or his LD. He can break them and delete their turns. Both of these other characters actively
break them. Yeah, steal the breaks.
Actively hurt that by stealing his breaks. And we are at 16 turns, 24%. Friend unit not used. 2 LDs left on him, and they actually are kind of close to getting a turn. I was gonna say, and they're still not close to getting turns, but
HP plus A, delete them.
Like, wow. I guess this is garbage time, folks.
Yeah. I mean, she's part of Viera because they're both summoners.
That name. I mean, I knew this was going to happen. I said it when it happened. Yao and Gabron FR has spoiled me for every other pairing from here on out. I don't think anything's going to top that for me in terms of, like, satisfaction.
Yeah, it can't. There's no way. It is just so perfect. I mean, I don't know what to do here. I think I almost want to just not use the twins' friend.
Yeah, do it.
But yeah, Gabronth and Gal had such like a almost emotional, really meaningful FR pairing.
Yeah, there was like a story to it.
Yeah.
You know? And it tied into it rewarded you for paying attention to the story and cutscenes in the game.
Yeah. And I'm just now finding out right now that Luna Freya's combo is what's her name?
Rydia.
So I guess they're going hard into the job classes. You're a summoner, you get a summoner.
Okay,
I think like summoners in particular kind of make sense because they have, like they both summon the same people.
Yeah, they both summon Leviathan, if I remember right. Or
Leviathan
something.
is a pretty big story moment in 15. Not to spoil for anyone who hasn't played the game.
That's what I remembered.
Yeah.
Or of some nature. And also, I mean, in their defense here, I think the pairings for the new characters are going to be harder than the pairings for existing ones in the like story-wise. Like Tita Theodore, they had a chance to build that. Otherwise, it would have made not as much sense. Okay, maybe still Gabrant Gao, you know, they had a chance to build that. Luna Freya, she's had no story time, so I guess they do have to kind of extrapolate a little bit in order to justify the pairing. So I guess we could give them a little bit of wiggle room there.
I've got a serious question to ask everyone. I'm a little worried at this point. Our thing on the live stream is kind of. You guys know what I'm about to say. I'm not.
Exactly what you're about to say.
I don't.
Is
I
our
don't.
big danger?
I'm not. I don't throw. I'm just actually bad. I don't throw. I just suffer and struggle. And
Yeah, how are you gonna deal with easy content? Like,
holy
what's
shit!
there to watch?
What are we gonna do? I mean, I am actually kind of freaking out right now. If garbage time is like this, I may have to start doing it way more drunker. Because this was fucking ridiculous. This team sucks. I mean, Kane is great. Obviously, he's broken for this level because he handles the orb solo as long as you imperil ranged. Zidane is green. I did both of his BT phases, so yes, I'm aware this team is still kind of strong. However, wow.
Yeah, no, not an overwhelming challenge, not an obstacle here. I think at base, you know, some kind of like challenge run type thing might be a good idea. We could just outsource to Eamon and say, hey, Eamon, give us your challenge ideas for this, because Eamon's been running a little homebrew kind of TCC challenge style restrictions in the TCC Discord, kind of filling in that gap.
Yeah, shout out Eamon and his Eamon challenges. They're kind of fun. They're locking out based on cycles, so characters from the obviously no synergy characters, and then characters from the most recent 3 cycles are locked out, so it's fun. Join the TCC Discord and check that out.
I will say personally, I haven't touched the thing because the burst weapons revenge, and I just like using burst weapons like for funsies. So I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Nothing against it. Just I know what I'm about right now. What I'm about right now is hitting for massive damage.
I know what I'm about. Well,
critical decision making time.
That's all she wrote. Now you kind of know what they're talking about. The content, whether it was last fight or the fight before that, garbage time is here to stay for a while. So be careful. Try not to spend resources that you don't have to. I'm not encouraging hoarding. Play all the play all the Final Fantasies so you make more friends or make more favorites. But yikes, man.
Oh, you know what, Raw? Apparently, Cross also just finished. You beat him by 1 turn, so you are officially the better player.
That was with no friend unit too.
Yeah,
and no friend unit. You are Cross. I am sorry, you are down horrendous right now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put a lot of stock into this fight. On any level. That was the easiest Luffy plus by far at this point. I was kind of hoping Kane and Garnet would fuck with Zidane's breaks a little bit more and kind of give us a little
excitement.
Yeah, a little little tight bum time, squeaky bum time. But hey, you got to make your own fun. If garbage time really is going to be this bad, what you got to do is make your own fun. Do some TCC challenges, do some Amen challenges, and challenge yourself.
Well, all right. So here's my thought. Right, if you want to make garbage time a little more interesting, you should try greening suboptimal characters. And have I got a suggestion for you?
Hey, fun garbage time. Green Jegran. Jurgen is the best for greening to make fights harder. That's it. It's all done. We made it. And what time is it? 10:30. You guys want to watch that video real quick? It's very short, I think.
We do, yeah. Let's watch that. And
let's watch the video
Dude's
real quick.
Debauchery, asking if this is up as a podcast anywhere. It is unfortunately not. There's actually only one DFFOO podcast, the Crystal Chronicles podcast. And Mark actually he actually pays to have the recordings distributed via podcast apps. We're not at the moment at that point. We do
It's
a
a
Twitch,
podcast.
and I post it on my YouTube channel. But we are not actually a podcast. And do not come to you in podcast format. I'm sorry to say.
I put Bl'Art's link in the chat. Click on that link. Follow Bl'Art. He does good runs and also does the community a service by putting this phenomenal weekly show on YouTube for everyone to enjoy. So check that out. If someone in Discord can send me the video so we can watch that real quick.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm glad to see you can download on YouTube, Dave. Great. I'm glad to hear it. Ron, check our Discord. I think Somegi has it in there.
All right,
yeah,
And also, as a little public service announcement for folks, Cross is
Yeah.
informing us that this week Historia Crux won't be is taking a break, so they'll be back next Tuesday. So for those of you who enjoy Cross 13 and the gang on his YouTube channel for Historia Crux, you'll have to skip this week and catch them next week for probably twice as much goofiness as you normally see.
Where is it? Nobody sent it to me. You said you sent it to me.
No, not saying it's in the live stream chat.
I'm in the live stream
Scroll-
chat.
Scroll up like 4 messages. It's the big link to the
Oh.
Twitter.
I was.
There in
It
front
was
of
like
you.
an hour ago. I thought that you guys had just done it.
No, I posted it when it dropped.
I thought you'd be able to back read like 5 minutes.
Okay, guys, come on. We're
Posted
already.
like
we
2
got
hours
it.
ago.
Okay, let me see if I can. I've got to wait. There's more Chocoboard panels.
I
No,
guess
there's
they
not.
got
There's
some
no-
new ones.
There's not. It's just because I.
Oh, you got the 25 gargoyles, right?
I had done that already. Are the gargoyles on here? Is that where they were
Yeah.
waiting for? Yeah, it
Yeah.
got down to 4 days, and I was like, "Whoa, I guess they're
Yeah,
gonna go
no.
back to the old days." And back in the day, back in my day, the defeat blah 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 20 times, 30 times that wasn't in current content. You had to go back and find them most of the time.
It was so
That's
annoying. I remember
really
that.
stupid.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to do that again because it got down to 4 days, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I just went and handled it. But I guess gargoyles are in this. Is that confirmed? I don't remember seeing any, but we were rushing very fast, so I guess that would explain it. Let's watch this video. See if what's her face? Noctis's girlfriend is
Drez with
good.
a great idea for a way to add to the challenge, like a way to create your own fun. You can have a drinking game watching Raw play. I'm sure there are plenty of opportunities
Hey,
to create rules from that.
hey, it's not showing up.
Oh, Cross, if you want to drop your YouTube in the chat again, Lyra's asking about Historia Crux. It's a fun it's a fun time. You can again, yeah, Cross, drop a link in the chat so you can check it out.
Yeah, Historia Crux is very fun and wild. We are much more.
Yeah,
dignified.
are we the same one by comparison?
We're very dignified
it-
and.
I think I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I think oh boy.
Oh, here we go. All right, you ready? We'll make it big so y'all can see it.
Okay, all right, folks, let's enjoy ourselves some Lunafray and Ultimisia action. I'm pretty excited.
Why is some girl's picture still there?
Change the layers. No,
I don't know how to do that, so I'm just gonna make
just drag it in the box. The box has a list full of sources. Just drag it down.
Oh yeah, you're so good. How do you do this? How do you
Heck,
know how to
God.
do that?
Because I've done it before.
It's crazy. All right, here we go. Luna Freya, Part 3, Chapter 9, Part 1, Lost Scenery will be held from 3 p.m. today. Lunafrena's BT weapon and FR weapon are now available. Furious Water Splash, collaborate with Lydia. All right, Wait, there's not gonna be a video for my girl for Ulti?
She's in
I
there.
think it might be in the same video, maybe.
It's in there.
Let's see. Here we go. Yo, this song is sick.
Oh, it's Ulti's VT theme. Yeah, no, I love this theme.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that's a cool animation.
There's Rydia. You gotta do some water summoning. Okay. Her damage sucks ass. I'm just kidding. I don't play JP. Nobody makes a big deal of that. I don't know. Oh shit. Oh, Shiva, her friend who... Oh, no spoilers, but that was kind of cool. I know what that's from.
Okay. Looks like they meant... What is that golden... Oh, that's FR stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, so her buff being golden, you mean?
Or the damage from it being golden.
Oh yeah, that's different stuff.
Okay, so a bunch more dumps on the LD unit. More dumps on her skill 2, it looked like, too.
There's DX.
Ultimisha's damage fucking blows still. What the fuck is going on?
Wait, how many free turns did she just get?
3.
Oh wait, is that 2 million? Okay, alright. Okay, all those were 2. Alright, that's fine. Hold on, I'm fine. I'm good. I get it.
Oh, let's see the.
Ooh. Not bad. That was pretty cool. Looking at Freya's stuff. Let me back up. This right here, if you watched the game, played the game, you know who this looks like. Shiva. I guess it technically is Shiva, but also
That is Shiva from Final Fantasy 15. Yes,
right.
this is what Diamond Dust looks like in
yeah,
15.
some character plot points I won't spoil that connect that to. I mean, I'd like that. That's pretty cool. It's fucking stacked too. Just
I really like the FR animation actually. Like,
Yeah,
that was my
no, that's
favorite.
cool. That's a really cool animation.
that's pretty cool. All right, at least they gave.
Yeah, hold up. Can you...
Huh?
Yeah, ooh, that's interesting. Ultimisia's, her, what the hell is that? Maleficent magic? Is that her stacked buff? It appeared to be gold framed.
Oh yeah, so that's actually a quality of life change they've gotten, so that any stacking buff when it's at max stacks, it turns gold.
Oh, that's really cool.
Does that affect not being able to? Wait.
No, it can still be.
Gold-
It's just a visible.
It's just a visual cue.
Yeah, just
that's-
so you
okay.
know that it's
Less
it's not
exciting,
gold.
but okay.
It's not gold framed. It's
correct. It's just it
Gold.
turns gold.
logo. All right, that's cool. Good for Luna Freyna.
Dang. Okay. Well, we'll take that.
Yeah, congrats to Final Fantasy 15 fans. You guys are happy, I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's all she wrote, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Somegi, some girl,
Yeah.
will be joining us on a relatively regular basis as her schedule
Should be able to.
as her schedule allows. We're appreciative of
Yeah.
that. I think next week we may have another surprise guest join us. We're working on that, getting the contracts ironed out.
Really?
Talking to agents. It's just a lot. That's show business, baby.
That
It's
is
just,
show business.
Show
There's
business.
a lot of stuff that goes into it. You don't see
That's
behind the
definitely
scenes.
It seems like
one
a
the
lot of
rules
golden
for the game.
You say what now?
One
Yeah,
of the rules for the
take a
game
shot every
is one
time
of the-
Ross says that's showbiz.
Yep.
We cannot be held accountable for any trips to the hospital because that is show business. I'm trying to look on my my Twitch at who's streaming right now.
I see Living Ichigo is streaming.
Did you say something?
Yeah, I said it looks like Living Ichigo is streaming from what I can see.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys for coming out. Blart, any last words? Last thoughts?
Pull for Fran. She has very good healing magic early in the game when you need it.
Agreed. So Maggie, what do you got to say?
Don't get bored by the fights being easy.
That's a very good point.
God bless.
Don't get bored by the easy fights. Just use harder characters. Make it as hard as possible. Because as I just showed, even if you are trying to make it a little hard, it might still be too easy. So do some crazy stuff. This is the perfect time to show your skills. See you next Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for coming out.
Adios.
Howdy, y'all.
And we have rated
All right.
Ichigo.